asilwela ukunqoba kuphela kepha silwela ukwakha isizwe esinohlonze.
A very good afternoon. Welcome to Weekend Central. This bulletin is coming to you live from the news hub here at Adesawe Kanda. On Facebook, we are live on TV3 Ghana on DSTV's channel 279. My name is Kwaning.
And I am Judith Brown. Coming up with the bulletin this afternoon. National Road Safety Authority NRSA expresses concern over how increasing number of road traffic crashes appear linked to noticeable absence of police motor traffic and transport department MMTD personnel on Ghana's roads.
And renowned public law and justice fellow at CDD Ghana, Professor Stephen Kwekwasari, says the probability of prosecution must increase to deter corrupt individuals from engaging in such acts.
Plus, Ghana is set to partner with the International Vaccine Institute following a high-level meeting with the health minister. We have details of these and many more stories coming up shortly. Do stick and stay. The bulletin starts from here. Now, 10 students of Laura Senior High School in the Upper West region are reported to have drowned in Dipe River while attempting to cross it in a canoe. Now, the incident occurred today, 14th June 2025. Ibrahim Wamgara is joining us with more details on this particular story. Ibrahim, good afternoon. What more have you gathered about this incident?
Good afternoon. Information that we gathered has it that these students from Laura Senior High School, situated in the Upper West region, were on their routine Saturday jogging. Well, while some of them, a section of them, managed to go to the side of the Dite River, which is current boundary between Ghana and that of Burkina. Yes, from my last engagement with the search team, we are told after the canoe capsized, 3 of these students managed to swim out alive, leaving 7. And out of the 7, they also managed to get 3 dead bodies, remaining 4 that they are yet still searching for. So that is the situation.
Well, have you heard from the National Disaster Management Organization yet? Are they there? What are they doing about the situation?
Well, at the moment, we have not heard anything from National Disaster Management Organization yet. We are yet to make our contacts to see what they are also doing regarding this particular incident.
Right. Many thanks for your time. Ibrahim Wamgara has been giving us all the details as regards to this particular situation in that region there. We're going to do some more stories. George, tell us.
Well, in more news this afternoon, the National Road Safety Authority, NRSA, has expressed deep concern over the increasing number of road traffic crashes, injuries and fatalities, which appear linked to the noticeable absence of police motor traffic and transport department personnel on Ghana's roads. This worrying trend was a central issue During a recent stakeholder engagement on road traffic held in response to earlier correspondence addressed to the NRSA, and stakeholders unanimously observed that the lack of MTTD presence may be fueling a rise in traffic violations, particularly speeding, a major contributor to severe accident. In light of these concerns, stakeholders have strongly urged for the immediate redeployment of MTTD officers to high-risk areas, often referred to as black spots, where enforcement of traffic regulations is critically needed to deter reckless driving. Acting Director General of the NRSA, Abraham Amaliba, stressed that enhanced law enforcement on dangerous corridors would significantly reduce speeding and other risky driving behaviors that lead to fatalities. Well, let's still stay longer on this very development and engage Abraham Amaliba, who is the Acting Director General of the National Road Safety Authority. Good afternoon, Abraham. What specific factors have contributed to the recent absence of police MTT personnel on Ghana's roads?
Well, I think the police administration and the Dampare took a decision to withdraw the police MTTD from the roads. But we at the road safety will not know what led to that. However, at our stakeholders engagement, it came to light that the absence of the MTTD personnel on the roads has led to misbehavior of drivers and overspeeding on the roads. We are concerned about the accident rate, and our view is that if you are not bringing back the police onto the road, at least we have what is called the black spots, where we have accidents frequently happening. Can you bring back the MTD on those spots so that we can curb road crashes? So that is our view.
How urgent is the deployment of MTTD officers to identify black spots, and what impact do you expect it to have?
Say it again.
How critical or how urgent is the deployment of these MTTD officers to identify black spots, and what impact do you expect from this?
Well, it's urgent. It's urgent because people are dying. Every day we have road crashes, and the statistics show that 6 people die every day. And Fridays to Sundays are the days that we have more road crashes. And you can understand why Friday to Sunday are the serious days for road crashes. We are of the view that they should deploy them quickly. The police knows these hotspots. We also know them. For instance, in Accra, when you talk about the black spots, you have the Kwashi interchange, Dimples Achimota interchange, then you have Abeka Junction, Kwashima Odoko Junction, you have Malam Junction, Weja Kaswa, you have Legon, Oponglo Junction, Madina Zongo Junction, Adenta Barrier. They know them, we also know them. So they should send personnel to these areas so that we can help curb the road crashes.
Okay, Abraham, before you go, can you explain how the upcoming Traffic Tech Ghana system will improve road safety enforcement once fully implemented?
Well, Traffic Tech is using technology, using road cameras. We have cameras mounted on some parts of our roads. Now, if it is still fully implemented, what it will mean is that you don't need a police on the roads again. They can visualize the drivers who are engaging overspeeding, and then the camera would attack, would expose them. Now, you have, if you are overspeeding, you have a ticket that will come onto your phone to show that you are overspeeding and that they should you are charged to pay a certain amount.
Okay.
So Traffic Tech is using technology to ensure that drivers don't overspeed.
Abraham, so you've been so vocal about your operations, and I'm sure you're one that will say all hands on deck. How can the public and other stakeholders help to support your efforts?
Road safety is a shared responsibility. Today, you are a driver. The next moment, you are a pedestrian. So if you are a driver and you think that you are sitting in a car and you are powerful, you will stop to cross the road to buy something. At that point, you are a pedestrian. Another car can knock you. So let's all come on board. It's a shared responsibility. Let's all come on board. When you see a driver misbehaving, report to the authorities. And then also, as pedestrians, let's ensure that we obey the road regulations. Cross at a place that you can be seen by the drivers. And so I am of the view that because it's a shared responsibility, every Ghanaian should take interest in road safety.
Thank you so much. Abraham Amaliba is the Acting Director General of the National Road Safety Authority, and the authority is actually urging the immediate enforcement of laws on our roads to ensure that we record no crashes on these roads. Judith.
Absolutely. Now, a renowned public law and justice fellow at CDD Ghana, Professor Stephen Kwekwasari, says the probability of prosecution must increase to deter corrupt individuals from engaging in such acts. Speaking on the key points, he noted that timelines for prosecuting such acts must also be clearly stated to ensure that lawyers and judges act accordingly. He made these remarks on the key points today.
Make the probability of successful prosecution go up. If it goes up, that increases the cost, the perceived cost of corruption. And when the perceived cost of corruption goes up, then the probability of corruption will fall. As it is, we are being told that, well, let's retrieve the money and let them go. Well, that is an invitation for everyone to be corrupt, because I go and I loot 1 million cedis, and if I'm caught, then I just return it. But if I'm not, and chances are I won't be caught, then I walk away with the 1 million cedis. No system can survive in that mode. Rather, what we must do is, in addition to the prosecution, we recover the loot. So not just send you to prison, but when we send you to prison, we are also going to take all steps to recover the loot that you have taken from us. We have to have timelines in every jurisdiction. The jurisdiction that I practice, there are timelines for every crime. So if it's corruption, we say from the inception of the complaint or the suit to the final decision should take 6 months. The judges and the lawyers to ensure that they do everything that it's within their power to get the case adjudicated within 6 months.
Well, more news this afternoon. The Executive Director of the National Service Authority, NSA, Phyllis Kwachi, says that despite the revelations regarding alleged misappropriation of funds, they are focused on delivering on their mandate. His comment was in reaction to a revelation by the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dr. Dominic Ayini, that 12 former employees of the authority have embezzled a total of 548 million cedis. He spoke on key points. Take a listen.
I've been in this position since late January, so the revulsion of the Sadly Act has struck us, and then it's been quite worrying. So we knew this day was going to come, and then what happens is that whenever National Service discuss this extensively in the news for all the negative reasons that it is, it's just worrying, and then sometimes you wake up a bit down, and then it causes distortion in our plan of movement for the daily work that we'll have to do. But why not? We soldier on. Our focus is very clear, and it is to build a better national service where we would have moved away from this cancer that has eaten so deep into the very fabric of the organization that otherwise should be at the forefront of youth development empowerment. Mm-hmm. My resolve is so solid that henceforth we are done with this serious, disastrous, horrendous orchestration of issues at the authority, mm-hmm. and that I can assure everybody that that is the way forward.
Felix Jemfe is Acting Director General of the National Service Authority. Judith has more news.
And we're going to stay on the key points because private legal practitioner Martin Pebu has expressed the view that the Attorney General should rather be interested in retrieving money that has allegedly gone into people's pockets in the National Service Scheme scandal. Now, Martin Pebu added that the NSS scandal was one of the many reasons why the New Patriotic Party was voted out of office in the 2024 general elections.
So I'm just making a general plea because I don't have all the facts. But the reason I'm making that general plea is that, criminal trials take some time. And even at the same press conference, he was asked or given intelligence by some journalist, another journalist who said she has intelligence that the suspects will intend to frustrate the trial. They will delay and delay. I'm a lawyer, I go to court, so I know how today I'm not well, tomorrow that, and then it delays the trials. A judge will get transferred, so many things. And there are the recent cases that his own colleagues, the opening trials, etc., some of them spanning over 6 years. So, our system hasn't developed to such an extent that you can finish everything within a year or two. Even for judges who go very fast, the NCA trial, it took more than 2 years. Remember, TV3 and Co. It took more than 2 years. That's one of the fastest that we got. Chamber did very well, okay? It took more than 2 years. So I'm scared that, we've already done this about 6 months, right? And count out the last 6 months of 2028, because by then, JM will be leaving, he will no longer be in charge. So things will slow, even from the courts. Generally, in the last 6 months, it's not only government, executive that's slow, but in the courts too, things will slow. So what we are saying is that effectively, it means that we have just 3 years to prosecute. If we are not careful, some of these cases will go beyond the 2028 elections. So today, if I saw money, I would take the money and then reduce the prosecutions as much as possible. Because let's remember that the courts don't go as fast as we wish. And sometimes we are all parties to the delays. Today is the accused person, tomorrow is a lawyer who is not well. Then the next time, a judge has to go on a training program, workshop, etc. So we all, in a way, contribute to the slow system. So if you see money any day, I'll take it. Because, look, it helps.
Away from key points, Ghana is set to partner with the International Vaccine Institute, IVI, following a high-level meeting with the health minister. The move reflects Ghana's push to boost vaccine development as it prepares to move beyond Gavi support.
The health minister met with officials from the International Vaccine Institute to explore a possible partnership. The International Vaccine Institute, which supports vaccine access in low and middle-income countries, is keen on Ghana becoming a member. The partnership will allow Ghana to assess, support, and take on leadership roles in global vaccine governance. Jerome H. Kim is the Director General of the International Vaccine Institute.
This is in addition to ongoing work with the National Vaccine Institute of Ghana to strengthen the ability of Ghanaian researchers to participate effectively in the development of new vaccines, not only for typhoid or human papillomavirus, but for diseases that are very prevalent in Ghana. We know that vaccines are the most cost-effective form of prevention, and we think that Ghana, with its strong scientific capabilities, with the strength of its health services, is uniquely positioned in West Africa to begin to be able to develop the capabilities to sustain manufacturing of vaccines and drugs to prevent and treat infectious diseases.
The health minister, Kwabena Minta-Kando, confirmed Ghana's readiness and strong interest in joining the International Vaccine Institute.
Ghana will be transitioning from Gavi very soon, and so we have a clear roadmap to transition. And as part of the roadmap to transition, we should be able to manufacture some of the vaccines in the country. So forging with you is a strategic partnership we need. We don't want, we need. And I can assure you that we have come with the right energy and right enthusiasm, and we will expedite action on whatever we need to do.
This potential alliance could boost Ghana's role in vaccine research and strengthen public health innovation. The collaboration is expected to enhance Ghana's capacity to develop and distribute vaccines more efficiently ultimately improving health outcomes across the region.
Now, away from that, they are born with light skin, hair and eyes, not as a result of choice, but of genetics. Yet, for many persons with albinism, the world around them often sees their difference before it sees their humanity. And Yunam Haliga tells their story with a humanist perspective.
They walk in the sun, breathe the same air, and dream the same dreams. But for people with albinism, the world often treats them as something other. Albinism, a genetic lack of melanin, leaves individuals highly vulnerable to sunburn, vision loss, and even deadly skin cancer. In many regions, sunscreen remains unaffordable, a barrier to basic healthcare. For persons with albinism, especially in Africa, the sun isn't just uncomfortable, it can be deadly.
People with albinism, they tend to lack or have a little of the melanin. Melanin is the pigment that shields or shades our skin from the ultraviolet rays. And because they lack this melanin, they easily burn, their skin easily burns, and they could also develop damage to the skin, sometimes disfigurement of the skin, of the base of the skin, and eventually sun cancer. So that's why it's really very important for them.
In many parts of Africa, people with albinism still face social rejection, and in some cases, violence fueled by harmful myths.
What I knew was that they don't die, right? They don't die. And that was the only thing I was always hearing around.
Initially, I used to have thoughts or myth about people living with albinism to be people who have body odor. And then some people also say that people living with albinism, they die young, and then sometimes when they die, we don't see their posters in town.
Tuhinie Sulemana Seidu lives with albinism as a young student at Unimac IJ. The challenges of living with the condition can be troubling. Fortunately for him, however, his colleagues on campus have been supportive.
So Unimac is a place to be. It's kind of a good environment for me so far. Most times I have my colleagues come to me to ask questions about albinism. Some time ago, someone asked me, why are my eyes not stable? Why is it constantly moving? So I explained to the person and it was okay. So mostly I don't really face that misunderstanding. I rather have my colleagues come to me to find out things about albinism, and I get it clarified to them.
But the dangers of contracting a skin disease through no fault of his is something he believes requires urgent attention.
We appreciate the current initiatives ongoing with regards to improving the lives of persons with disabilities in Ghana. The government should work on subsidizing the cost of skin cancer, the cost for treatment of skin cancer. It is way high, and also it makes a lot of persons with albinism lose their lives. We want to request that various institutions continue to engage in practices that are inclusive so that nobody will be left out.
And without access to sunscreen, protective clothing, or regular medical checkups, skin cancer becomes a silent killer.
Just this one, I was speaking to a friend who got one sunscreen lotion, the smaller one of it, and it is 250 cedis. So ask yourself, if I'm being denied employment and I'm not working, how am I going to be able to afford that small sunscreen for my protection? Our healthcare needs some modifications to understand the special treatment and the needs of persons with albinism. And not just that, sometimes you have to go for a skin check. You have a cut on your body, but as to whether the cut or the sore on your body contains a cancerous cell, you don't know. And so if the hospitals or the National Health Insurance can make this treatment all available on the skin, so that we can just go to the hospital. Oh, I have a sore and I want to check if my sore is cancerous. The earlier the better. So when you are able to identify that your sore contains cancerous cells, then you are able to work on it.
It's been 11 years since the United Nations officially recognized International Albinism Awareness Day. In that time, there has been progress, more voices, more visibility, and more advocacy, but too many are still left behind.
Living with albinism is normal. It's 50-50. You won't get it everything smooth. There are days you go out and you experience some stigma. There are days you go out and everything is okay. So I'll say life as a person with albinism is 50-50. It's hard that people get to understand that you having albinism has nothing to do with spirituality. You having albinism has nothing to do with being contagious. We are just humans like you. We possess every feature a human being has. It's just a color difference.
Every year on June 13, the world pauses to shine a light on the challenges and triumphs of persons with albinism. This year's International Albinism Awareness Day carries a bold and urgent theme, demanding our rights, protect our skin, preserve our lives.
Well, there's nothing as refreshing than defying odds. The story of persons with albinism is one of resilience and commitment. Away from that, the National Blood Service Ghana is calling on the public to continue donating blood to help save lives. The appeal was made during the commemoration of the 2025 World Blood Donor Day celebrations.
Ghana's blood collection index BCI increased over the last 5 years, rising from 5.2 in 2020 to 6.1 in 2024. A total of 187,280 units of blood was collected last year, still below the World Health Organization's minimum recommendation of 10 units per thousand population. This means Ghana faces an annual shortfall of about 120,000 units. Speaking at the commemoration of the 2025 World Blood Donor Day in Accra, the Minister of Health, Kwaning Akando, mentioned that policies are being implemented to make blood donation more convenient.
We have realized that the processing fee for the blood donation has become a barrier, and it's also affecting the availability of blood in this country. Once it's a barrier, government is considering how to remove that barrier, making it free of charge. And so we will consult the necessary stakeholders in the sector and try to make it available and free for everybody.
CEO of the National Blood Service Ghana, Dr. Sheliowusu Ufuri, stated that donation drives will be held in various locations to improve accessibility and address the challenges associated with blood donation.
One of our challenges is access to donors, and the donors also have a challenge accessing centers where they can give blood. So having a regional blood center enables us to reach donors in the community outside hospitals, because donating in hospitals don't provide the ambience donors need. We reached out to the ministry to support us to establish additional blood centers. The infrastructure needs to be put in place and also the logistics to go with it.
The event featured an award ceremony where several corporate and religious organizations were recognized for their contributions. The theme for this year's World Blood Donor Day celebration is Give Blood, Give Hope. Together we save lives.
You're still watching Weekend Central here on TV3. We're going for a quick commercial break. We're back with more news. Stay with us.
Welcome back. You're still watching Weekend Central. We're now going to zoom into issues regarding the suspended strike by nurses because a political scientist at the University of Ghana, Dr. Joshua Zato, has said that the strike by the nurses was the first major test for the Minister of Health, Kwabena Minta Kando, and the Labour Minister, Rashid Pelpo. However, he said they failed this test.
By temporarily suspending and going back to work, they have won my heart, and I will continue to cheer for them. You are ordinary workers. You are not looking for riches. You are just looking for what is due you. You are ordinary men on the streets, and you are the first line of defense when it comes to our healthcare. I want to thank you for the good work you are doing, and I pray that when you go back, you continue to be as professional as you are. Thank you very much for your sacrifices and for your dedication to Mother Ghana. I also want to talk about the politics of this whole history. The government of the Republic of Ghana chose politics and rhetoric when it should have been working. And what we have seen is an amateur hour on the part of the men and women in government whom we elected to take off this critical and important issue. When nurses were asking important questions and deserving rightful answers, what we saw was political theater, what we saw was amateur, and what we saw was an insensitivity to these important issues. This is one of the biggest, if not the first, test for the Minister of Health, and he bombed. This is one of the first, if not the biggest, test for the Minister of Labour, and he bombed. They dropped the ball.
Tune in, you're watching Weekend Central here on TV3. We are live on Facebook, TV3 Ghana, DSTV, channel 279. In more news this afternoon, MP for South Day, Roxanne Nelson Dapiamapo, assures nurses that the government will listen to their grievances and act accordingly. He spoke on key points earlier. Take a listen.
My information is that the finance minister, for instance, was never engaged by you until after the budget was presented. That was when you engaged him to find out what had been done for you. Then you say, oh, these matters haven't come to my attention. But in any case, there's an opportunity to do a review in the mid-year, so something can be done. But I heard Dr. Zato saying all sorts of, he speaks as if he's on a political platform. And I find him very offensive. Incompetent. Who was incompetent? How do you ascribe incompetence in this matter? The facts are emerging that there was even a court injunction. Is it known to Dr. Zato? No. That one of their own members, or some of their own members, sought a judicial process to injunct the implementation. So we can decry these matters, but we are here. A solution is being sought. Going forward, what must we do? As Parliament, we have been seized with the matter, and we want to take it forward. We are looking forward for the media. If it comes, and there's no provision, we'll make comments and suggest to government, a listening government, that this must be done. If there are provisions, we'll look at it. Would it be sufficient for the rest of the year? If it is, we'll approve of it and commend government for listening to the plight of the nurses and the group that recently suspended the strike, so they can be available to attend to the healthcare needs of our people.
The nurses' suspended strike, and Parliament has commended the Health Committee for the intervention, which led to the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association suspending their strike. Now, the House has meanwhile urged the government to continue talks with the group and ensure they meet the nurses' demands.
On the floor of Parliament, Majority Leader Mahama Yariga thanked the Health Committee for its intervention in helping to resolve the nurses' strike.
I think that this House should collectively thank the leadership of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association and thank all the nurses and midwives for deciding to return to work. We have since communicated the decision to His Excellency the President, and in the coming weeks, His Excellency has directed some meetings to discuss the demands that they have made of government.
Chairman of the committee, Dr. Kwaning, urged that the nurses' demands be addressed promptly.
They have announced that they are back to work, but that is not the end. Members of Parliament, we need to continue to fight to ensure that some of their requests, the executive arm of government will listen to them.
The Health Committee, Mr. Chairman has shown good leadership, and the ranking member, Honorable Ayu Afriye, shown very good leadership on this matter in helping to adopt a bipartisan position and to call both sides to consider the issues in a slightly different light.
Still in Parliament, some MPs raised concerns about a possible reintroduction of road tolls, the District Assembly's Common Fund, among other key issues.
Assemblies are dry. The Finance Minister promised us that he has released some money. The money they said they sent, there is nothing at the Assembly. We need to know when you are bringing the media budget. We also want to know when monies will hit the accounts of the DACF.
I've personally cited the communication from the Finance Minister to the Controller and Accountant General releasing the funds. If a member says on this floor that funds have not reached the assemblies, I'm unable to confirm that. I'm surprised that this matter is being raised by my colleagues opposite, because they hurriedly suspended the law. And I recall that in the dying days of their regime, they were making frantic efforts to reintroduce road tolls. I would not be surprised if it comes anytime soon.
MPs from the minority side are also calling for a number of ministers, including the Ministers for Health and Trade, to be summoned before the House to respond to matters of national concern. The majority leader further noted that a mid-year budget review will be presented in July.
Of Funko, a coastal community in the Ahanta West municipality of the Western region, are grappling with dire infrastructural challenges, including poor health care due to an under-resourced Chiefs compound and a stored hospital project. With the rainy season approaching, concerns are mounting over a potential transport crisis as the community's main access road continues to deteriorate. Here's a report by Stephen Kujo.
One persistent challenge facing the Hunter West municipality and its adjoining communities is the poor state of their roads. In Funko, a coastal community situated along the Takoradi-Agona-Kwanta highway, residents are forced to grapple daily with the deteriorating condition of the main road, an issue that impacts their health and businesses. Among those hardest hit are drivers who ply the stretch. Many lament a significant portion of their income is spent on frequent vehicle repairs. I just bought new parts for the vehicle. Due to the bad state of the road, they do not last. You can attest to it. When I fall into a pothole, you can see they are getting weak and damaged already. We pray that government intervene. If not to construct the road, at least make sure that the drip machine do a regular reshaping of the stretch for us, because we spent a lot on this stretch and we go with nothing.
So be ye nye ko talu mpone se nsesi mpoma obema okwan no ye hinale ye nam doma ye ho boto he na ankoye.
With the onset of the rainy season, residents fear a looming transportation crisis as the state of the road deters many drivers from using the routes, and those willing to convey passengers are now tripling their charges to make up for the risk and wear on their vehicles.
The road has been neglected for years. We once staged a demonstration, but the police dispersed us. Anytime it rains, life becomes extremely difficult. Drivers refuse to transport us, and those who agree charge outrageous fares. Sometimes we don't get any vehicle at all and are forced to spend the night in a nearby community.
Access to quality health care also remains a major concern. The community's health facility, which was once a community center, is under-resourced. It lacks basic medical equipment and essential supplies. leaving residents vulnerable in times of emergency. Assembly member for the area, Eford Kofi Otabes, urging the government to prioritize a stalled hospital project. For him, completing the facility will significantly improve healthcare delivery and ease the burden on residents.
All the nearby communities around, they are not having a facility like this. To finish this project, you definitely get a doctor inside and other health professionals. So possibly it will make the project a complete one that will serve the nearby communities.
Now, Managing Director of Metro Mass Transit, Cesario Kale, has intimated the company's resolve to deal with leakages, citing the negative impact of the leakages on the company's revenue generation. Well, according to him, corrupt practices that continue to hinder the smooth operations of the state-owned transport company must be stopped immediately.
Started in 2003 with over 1,000 buses, the state-owned transport service has faced years of decline in patronage due to operational inefficiencies, mismanagement, poor revenue generation, and bad attitude of staff. As of March this year, the total fleet of buses on road numbered between 130 and 140. This has led to the company withdrawing most of its route services to minimize operational losses. At the transport yard in Tamale, most of the buses were grounded. Speaking to journalists at the Metro Mass Transit Terminal in Tamale after interacting with staff of the company, Managing Director of Metro Mass Transit, Cesario Kale, warned staff against acts that could affect revenue mobilization of the company.
You decide to live in your old attitude or character, then we cannot work with you. I don't believe in politics. I don't believe in politics in organizations like this. I'm a pure politician. And so, since we came, our management side has been devoid of politics. But the moment you want to show any political attitude, then I'll show you more.
He, however, emphasized optimism that he will work assiduously with his team to revamp and retool the government transport business. He announced that the company is exploring avenues to procure new buses, to increase the fleet of buses, and to run 24-hour services, which will maximize revenue generation.
For now, we are ready to retool the whole company with about 1,000 buses. But this retooling exercise will be in phases, 2 major phases. One phase, 500 buses, another phase, another 500 buses. And so we have taken the initiative to ensure that urgently we get about 150 buses.
Already, the Metro Mass Transit is recording a monthly revenue inflows between 12 and 14 million cedis, despite the challenges.
And now, away from northern Ghana, the Municipal Chief Executive for Takwa Nsawam Assembly, Ebenezer Kobina, has disclosed that the Assembly will pursue partnerships with local communities and mining companies. This initiative aims to promote responsible mining practices and support the reclamation of degraded lands for agricultural use or afforestation.
In Nsawam Municipality, a mining hub is challenged with a high incidence of galamsey activities with its environmental implications. It is to help deal with the issue that the Municipal Chief Executive, Ebenezer Kobina, says the Assembly plans to pursue stronger partnerships with local communities and mining companies to help promote responsible mining practices and support the reclamation of degraded lands for agricultural use or afforestation.
As an Assembly, under my leadership, we will explore the possibilities of stronger partnership between the communities and the mining companies to promote responsible mining practices and champion the reclamation of degraded lands for agriculture and afforestation.
To address the potable water challenge in the municipality, he says the Assembly plans to collaborate with crucial partners such as Ghana Water Company Limited and the Community Water and Sanitation Agency, on water infrastructure development.
My administration recognizes that addressing water scarcity and contamination must be a priority. We will work closely with Ghana Water Company, Community Water and Sanitation Agency, and other relevant stakeholders to expand and rehabilitate our water supply infrastructure across the municipality. Our focus will be on ensuring that every community has a sustainable, accessible clean water.
He bemoaned the fact that the railway station area has become a haven for miscreants and warned developers to cease all operations there.
Stay with us. We're going for a quick commercial break. We're back with more news.
Welcome back. You're still watching Weekend Central. Now, more stories. Entrapped in war, Godwin Asidiba tells the story of Isaac Mensah, a 42-year-old Ghanaian who is believed to have lost his life while serving on the front lines of Russia's war with Ukraine.
42-year-old Isaac Abuaje Mensah from Adamwumasi near Bonwe in the Ashanti region of Ghana died at the front line fighting for Russia. I traveled to his hometown to meet his grieving family. I am here at the home of Isaac Abuaje Mensah, a young Ghanaian who is believed to have died after joining the Russian military. His family is still grappling with the shock and unanswered questions. He's hoping to make sense of how their son and brother ended up on the foreign battlefield thousands of miles from home. In this quiet compound, grief hangs heavy, and today I sit with them to hear their story.
Isaac left behind 3 children. One of them, 13-year-old Cameroon Abuaje Mensah, is now in junior high school 3. He does not know his father is dead.
Last year, I'm attending camp to chatting reply.
He says his mother avoids answering when he asks about his dad. He last saw his father in February 2024 and misses their time together.
No tied me call more near Cototonoma, a call children's park, could be the Blina. Fear Buffy. Manager. Sometimes I said, your sad feelings be, say, Bibi Atum. I started a mission, Bompire man.
He remains hopeful his father will return. Frank Frimpong, Isaac's younger brother, saw him off at the airport. He's been told Isaac is dead, but he refuses to believe it.
The last time I was talking to him, he told me you'll be hearing from him for a while. So we should just pray for him, and after 4 or 5 months, after that you'll be hearing from him. But since then we've not heard from him. I feel very, very sad. I think it's February 17th or so, I made some transaction for him. And even he sent me some money to pay some debt that he was owing here. And he told me I'll hear from him again. Since then, almost 2 years. Hear from him.
Frank says Isaac was the family's breadwinner. Now, everything has ground to a halt.
One of his daughter just completed SHS last year. I know for sure the results is in. I don't know if she will be continuing or she will not. The last time I talked, I called her. She said she is in Accra, finding a work to do.
Though Isaac reportedly died in April 2024, there's been no official information about where or how he died.
If the Russian embassy can give us an official document to prove that he is dead, that's all that the family needs. We can base upon that and then organize a befitting funeral for him. But not until we get something like that, then we can't do anything. Traditionally, if the body is still there and they can't bring the body down, what we normally do is that they cut the fingernails, the nails, and some part of the hair, then send that as a proof of his death. Or if that maybe he's buried and maybe he was lost in the terms of the battle and they couldn't trace his body, then they have their records and they know that these people were sent to the battlefield on this day and they didn't return. So actually, the Russian government knows that he's dead. So they can also give us an official document in writing, and the family will accept that too.
When you sign a contract, the next of kin is the agent who brought you in. That's what they do. And the contract is in Russian. So when the Ghanaian comes, he can't speak Russian. It's not being translated. So they just tell you to sign.
So it means when something happens to someone at the front line of the war, the person who brought him to Russia would be the one to earn the money.
Yeah, exactly. You will get the benefits. Yes.
Isaac Abuaje Mensah was a Kumasi Academy alumnus and graduate of the University of Professional Studies, Accra, UPSA. He worked as a teacher, then a banker, a determined man who believed in hard work. But this was a journey of no return.
This is the door that leads to Isaac Abuaje Mensah's room, and currently it's been locked for close to a year now, according to his brother. But he's also confirmed to us that some of his belongings, including clothes, shoes, bags, photos, and other stuff, are still in there. They're just hoping that one day he would return from Russia so that he can be able to have access to his room again. But until then, the door remains locked.
Others still at the war say many Ghanaians have died and they fear the war be next.
Judith, the quest for survival is a real one. Sometimes I understand when people still live in denial, they don't want to accept that their loved one is gone.
It's very saddening hearing really the issues that have surrounded this entire issue on how people are trapped in the Ukraine-Russian war. But we're hoping that the foreign ministry will do something about it. Well, that's how we wrap up the bulletin. My name is Judith Brown. I've been doing this with.
And my name is Josh Kwaning. For more news updates, just log on to our website, it's 3news.com. Thanks for watching. It's always a pleasure coming your way. Good afternoon.